Hello my gorgeous friends, welcome back. This is the third video in this playlist, in this course actually. So I have successfully built the application on my mobile device. So I'm going to show us, last time we commit and pushed our project to GitHub. So you can always get the repository and play with it, okay? So three things I'm going to be doing, few things I'm going to be doing in this video. I don't know, and I don't want it to be long, okay? So first of all, I'm going to show us the UI and just show us the flows, and then secondly I'm going to show us the URL of where we will begin it, like the endpoints we are going to use as this Graphql playground to actually utilize the GraphQL API to work in our application. And then thirdly, I'm going to add the dependencies, the various dependencies that we're going to be using for this project. And one of them is the provider. Yeah, I think I did a video one time in my YouTube channel of how we can use a provider. You can always check it. Once you visit my channel for the first time, you're going to see it as a top video. Okay, provider, and it's not old. Yeah, it's still new. Yeah, because I use more like the previous version of provider before this current one as of when I'm doing this video. And then I'm going to show us how to use our GraphQL. Like, we are going to add a GraphQL dependency as well. So those are the two dependencies we are going to be using for this project. All right, so without much ado, I think I'm talking a lot. Oh, this project just exited. Okay, so but that was good. That's good. I can always build it again. Yeah, that's always good. So but while it's building, I'm just going to show us how this stuff works. Okay, so for thing first, if you look, mm, I told you that we had the home page that just displays all the products. Okay, so if you go here now, you see the home page. You have this button available to do, and you can see the expanded widget with the list view, with the list.generate, and also a list style. So we're just rebuilding, so just give it some few minutes to come up. Okay, all right, so it's up now, and this is a list style that I used, and you can see the title, to do title. So this is where we are going to be displaying the title of the to do, more like, yeah, the task. And then this to do time, we are going to be displaying the time that the to do was added, it was created. And then we have this delete, this trailing button, which is here. So once we click on it, we are going to delete this stuff from the database. And then we have the leading button, which is just the leading icon widget, which is just a circular avatar. But if you watch where, I think there are some spaces around this and this. I think we need to remove those spaces. So I think the best way to do that is to add a padding, content padding. I'm going to remove the content padding from this list style. So I'll just remove it and just let it to be 0. Okay, yeah, make it 0. Save the project and let's open it up. Yeah, so the padding has been reduced, the margin has been reduced, so this is good now. And then you see we have this button that I talked about, which is a floating action button. If we click on it, it takes us to this to do page, and if I go to add to do page, we can see this button. Yeah, we can see add your first to do. This is the test. Add your first to do, and then we have the test controller, which is this to do task, and then we have the save task, which is this button. So to be sure that this button is actually retrieving the test, remember I created a test controller here. So what I'll do, I'll just print out that controller to see if it's actually going to print the test once we put it. So what I'll do, I'll just print out the task.test like so. Okay, save it up and go back here. So if I tap on it now, I think it's just going to print empty string if you look at the console, but we're going to fix that later, because if it's empty we don't need to add it to do, but if it's not empty then we add it to do. But those are things we're going to fix later. So here, and I'm just going to add a simple test. Yeah, so click on it and we should see the test printed out. Okay, so now we are sure that that stuff is working. So this is just the two-page application, view and add. Okay, so there was no endpoint for updating. Okay, so secondly, I said I was going to show us the endpoint. So this is the GraphQL endpoint. It was shared to me by a friend. A friend is actually a backend developer. Okay, so he shared the API with me. He's actually the person building my APIs whenever I want to work on projects. We do build projects together. So you can see his name here, Wisdom Matt, and you can search it on GitHub. You're actually going to see him. Okay, it's actually good. He uses Golang, so yeah. So if he really wants us to make a section, maybe where he creates API and why I do my, just let me know in the comment section. Yeah, I think I'm going to talk with him concerning that. So this is the endpoint you're going to be working with. You can see it's a GraphQL playground, and these are the query. This one is query, more like making GET requests to get data from the internet. But don't worry, I'm going to explain these stuffs later on, not now, when we want to use it. Okay, then we have the mutation. Mutation is more like making post requests using REST API. Yeah, it's more like making post requests. So this is what the data we are going to be adding. And then we have the delete to do. Yeah, the delete to do, we just have to pass the to do ID. Okay, yeah, so that's it. And without wasting time, let's add up the dependency that will be needed. So the first one is going to be Flutter Provider, and I don't really, yeah, okay, let's just search it online. So Flutter Provider, remember what provider is actually a state management package for, like, it's wrapped around inherited widgets to make them easier to use and is more reusable. So what I'll do, I don't really need to go through the readme because it's something I've been using frequently on my project. So as of when I'm doing this video is at 6.0.1. So I think the last video I showed you guys was around 5.0.0. So after 5.0.0 we have 6.0.0 before this other one. So you can always reference that video to learn how to use it. Okay, so without wasting much time, I'm going to add this. I normally just run this command, so just copy it and go to your console and paste it. Okay, so while it is running, we are going to go for the next one, which is Flutter GraphQL. Okay, yeah, so just type Flutter GraphQL. Yeah, GraphQL Flutter, I guess. And okay, I don't think it's this one, but let's see, because I know I've liked it before. So okay, yeah, so this is it. And GraphQL Flutter, it has not changed yet. It's still on 5.0.0, so we are still good to go. So I'll still do the same thing, copy this stuff. You can always copy this one and add it on the in prospect.yml file directly, but I prefer adding it from the terminal. Okay, so that way I'm very certain that I don't make mistakes. Okay, so we're going to add it. Just give it some time, just give it a little time for it to add. I think we are running out of time already, but please be patient and let's just get this stuff done, and then we move on to the next task. Okay, all right, so I've successfully added the two dependencies. So let me check my prospect.yml file and see. All right, so we have the GraphQL 6.0.1, and also we have the provider 6.0.1, and also we have the GraphQL Flutter 5.0.0. okay, so now we have the two dependency, and I've also showed you the URL we'll be using and also the project UI. Okay, so in the meantime, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to push this stuff to GitHub real quick. Okay, so I think this is actually the best slide I will be doing now, because most persons ask me what about the GitHub repository. So I think I need to do this. So I'll just say added to teach me how to spell, but I think okay, so we're just going to push this stuff now to GitHub, and yeah, it's a go. So if you go to your GitHub repository and if we refresh this stuff now, yeah, and go to your prospect.yml file, and you should see those two files. We have the GraphQL and the provider package. All right, so we are good now to move on to the next task. And what is the next task? Can someone remind me, please, what is the next task? Okay, the next task is setting up our providers. Okay, so I'm going to copy the URL. Okay, the first task we are going to do now is to make the describe our data and also add the URL to our project. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is to add, we are going to play with the add first, which is this to add. Okay, I'm going to stop here, then we continue from the next section.